Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? In this video, this ASMR video, we're looking at flags and facts about lots of countries in Africa. We're just going to trawl through this book. We'll start off with South Africa, then look at Lesotho, Eswatini, Madagascar, Mauritius, Comoros, Seychelles, and we'll see where we get to. So we'll be learning lots of facts about these different countries, about why their flags are like they are. And I hope you find the video both relaxing and really interesting as well. Okay. If you like this video, then I'll do a part 2 and we'll see if we can get through all of Africa. Because we're certainly not going to in one video, it's far, far too big. One thing I do want to bring up actually on the map, for those of you that are unaware, this is the continent of Africa, continent, not country. That's apparently one of the most googled questions. And we can see it shaded in orange, and Europe and Asia here, Middle East, part of Asia, is in white. I feel it's worth just taking a look at this for a split second and noting a couple of things to those of us who are getting into maps. Some people keep dropping me comments just saying about, can I do some more explanations of things, because I do assume sometimes that everyone who watches this channel is really knowledgeable about maps, and that's not always the case. Okay, so we can see it's in orange. So why are these parts in white then? Well, they aren't part of Africa, even though geographically they're really close. Here are the Canary Islands, which are formerly a part of Spain. This one I think is Madeira, which is a part of Portugal. We can see this island here, which is Malta, which is part not only of Europe but of the EU, and uses the euro, despite being pretty close to both Tunisia and Libya, and having a national language of Maltese, which is a Semitic language like Arabic, and contains lots of parts of Arabic, both in grammar and pronunciation and vocabulary, mixed in with some Italian and English for good measure. And that means that it's the only Semitic language which is an official language of the EU. And then these two, definitely one of them belong to Yemen, which is here. So Saudi Arabia, Yemen and Oman. Dubai in the middle. Dubai is here in the UAE, and Qatar is over here. And then these ones are the most curious of all, because as you can see, you can understand why that might be part of Spain, that might be part of Portugal, that part of Europe, that part of Yemen. These two are France. They're part of France. They use the euro. They are France by everything. So obviously France right up there. So I think this one is Mayotte, and I'm pretty sure next to Mauritius this one is La Réunion. So they are not African, they are European, and they're not overseas territories, they are considered a part of France. So, a couple of curiosities about Africa before we move forward. These two countries are entirely landlocked. Eswatini And Lesotho. Lesotho is interesting. We're going to read about it in a second, because it's entirely landlocked by a single country, which is unusual. Only a couple of countries in Europe can claim that. The Vatican City, San Marino, by Italy. But all other micronations have at least two borders. Liechtenstein with Switzerland and Austria, Andorra with France and Spain, etc. Equatorial Guinea has its land here, but actually its capital is on this little island here, which is closer to Cameroon. Sao Tome and Principe is here, it's another island. Madagascar is here, it's the largest island in Africa by a long way, look. Tiny, 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 the Comoros Islands, the Seychelles, Mauritius, but then Madagascar, quite huge. And the largest country by land mass is Algeria. The largest country by population is Nigeria, closely followed by Ethiopia, and then Egypt. Egypt's also interesting because it's a transcontinental country. What does that mean? It means it's between two continents. This is Africa. This, the Middle East, is part of Asia. And this, the Sinai Peninsula, where we have the Suez Canal, which allows boats to travel from the Mediterranean down here to the Indian Ocean without having to go all the way around Africa. This part here is actually considered to be on the part of the continent of Asia. Some people consider this to be one whole continent and base it on the fact that it's not on a separate plate, but actually it's all connected by land, so Europe, Asia and Africa is one continent. The same people think that North and South America are one continent as well. Very interesting theory. Okay, should we take a look at these flags then? I've been talking for long enough. I'm going to start off with the Rainbow Nation, South Africa. Say hello to my subscribers, as I have a good number of South African subscribers. South Africa, obviously, in the south of Africa. Black triangle on the left with a gold border. A green Y-shaped outline, very beautiful design, with white on red and blue horizontal bands. South Africa is often called the Rainbow Nation because the country has so many different groups of people and languages. Its flag was adopted in 1994 and marked the beginning of the country's new democracy after the end of apartheid, a system of racial segregation in South Africa. Disgusting. The red and white and blue come from the flags of both Britain and the Netherlands, who once ruled over South Africa. The red also represents the bloodshed in the formation of the country. The black, green and gold are from the flag of the African National Congress, the ANC, which is a national movement which was formed in 1912 to end apartheid, to unite the African people and to free them from discrimination and oppression. The black stands for the native African peoples, green for the fertility of the land, and gold for the wealth of the nation. South Africa has had a lot of gold mines, for example, literal gold. In 2010, South Africa hosted the FIFA World Cup. Its flag flies proudly in the photo of the cup, held by its first black president, Nelson Mandela. And it was the first African nation to host a World Cup. Morocco will be the second after the USA World Cup, although they, like the USA, are sharing it with Spain and Portugal. Okay, Lesotho. We talked about Lesotho's weird location. Stripes of blue, white and green, plus a traditional black mokorotlo, a Lesothan Lesotho straw hat in the centre. The blue stripe represents the sky and rain. Lesotho is known for its summer thunderstorms and clear mountain skies. The white strip symbolises peace. The green strip represents the land and prosperity. In the middle of the flag, the Mokorotlo straw hat. Some think it echoes the shape of a local mountain, or it may have been brought to Lesotho by settlers. The hat is black to represent Lesotho as a black nation. Known as the Kingdom in the Sky, Lesotho is a mountainous country entirely surrounded by South Africa. The current flag was introduced to honour the country's 40th anniversary of independence. The old military emblem of a shield, spear and knobbery, a short stick with a knob at the end, traditionally used as a weapon, was replaced with a black mokorotlo in order to represent the country's peaceful nature. Okay, Eswatini, you and I would probably know it as Swaziland. 5 unequal stripes of blue, yellow, red, yellow and blue, plus a shield with 2 spears and a fighting stick in the centre. Blue stands for peace, yellow stands for mineral wealth, red stands for the battles of the past. Above the staff are 2 assegais, spears. The shield is based on the ones carried in the 1920s by the traditional Swazi Emasocha regiment. The fighting stick is decorated with feather tassels called injobo. The feathers come from the widow bird and the luri, 2 species common to the region. And here we can see it in action, a beautiful shield. Eswatini is another landlocked country completely surrounded by South Africa. On the map it looked like it was a little bit with, I want to say, Mozambique. Oh, wow. I thought it was Mozambique there, but apparently not. The Swazi people are famed as warriors, and this is reflected in their flag with its traditional shield made of black and white ox hide, which sits in the centre. The Swazi flag has been in use since 1968, when the country gained independence from the UK. It was known as Swaziland until 2018, when the king ordered the new name of Eswatini to be used. Okay, let's go to the islands then. We'll start off with the largest, and that's Madagascar, of course. White and red symbolise the Merina Kingdom, which ruled Madagascar before it was taken over by the French in 1896. Green was the colour of the Hova, the name given to peasant people of the country. And this is a picture of Antananarivo, the capital of Madagascar. It was formed by the Merina monarchs who once ruled the region and whose red and white colours are on the flag. Madagascar is a group of islands in the Indian Ocean and one of the most biodiverse places in the world. Its flag was adopted when the Malagasy Republic was formed as the first step toward independence from France. As well as referencing the country's history, the colours on the flag represent sovereignty, hope and purity. Okay, Mauritius. 4 horizontal bands in red, blue, yellow and green. Red symbolises independence, yellow stands for a bright future, blue represents the Indian Ocean, green symbolises the lush landscape of Mauritius. This, if you didn't know, is the dodo. A beautifully ugly bird which existed on the island exclusively and nowhere else in the world, and it was hunted to extinction well, I say hunted to extinction, which is what it says here, but I'll explain a little bit more. The Mauritian flag is the only one in the world with just 4 horizontal stripes on colour. Its colours reflect those found on the country's coat of arms. The green is also to show the colour of the island's lush landscape throughout the year. The dodo was only found on the small island before it was hunted to extinction. I'll add a little bit about this because when we studied it when I was in school, it resonated with me, and I've remembered it since I was about 11 when we learnt about this particular topic. And the dodo wasn't only hunted to extinction because actually seamen, so sailors, would go to the island on the way to India to get spices and come back, and they started hunting it for fresh meat, but actually it tasted disgusting and was pretty awful to eat. But the bird itself was extremely easy to catch. Apparently I watched a documentary in the last couple of years, and the reason it was so easy to catch was A, it was flightless, it couldn't fly away, and it was pretty slow, and B, it didn't know humans, and so didn't have any reason to be scared of them, which sounds even worse when you say it. Yeah, so it was basically, it wasn't an alpha predator as such, but it didn't have any natural enemies, and so it used to just lay its eggs on the floor, and nothing would happen to them. But the sailors also brought rats with them on the ships, and when the rats came on the island, they had no natural enemy, and then they killed the dodo eggs for food. So the dodo actually went extinct for more than one reason. Pretty awful though. And I think I've seen one stuffed in the National History Museum in London. It was a really pretty bird, to be honest, and really awful circumstances that it was extinct by human activity. And there have been some calls to try, because they have enough DNA really to try and bring it back. I suppose it's just a scientific question of whether they should or not. But yeah, that's the dodo. So the dodo's on the coat of arms, now extinct, palm trees and a stag. I find it difficult to think that there was actually a stag. Do stags live on Mauritius? I can't imagine they would have. How would they have got there? I don't know why that's there. Stella clavisque maris indica. If you know what the Latin means, then let me know. Stella is star. Maris would be sea. The star shows, no, lights it up maybe, and the sea shows you the way, something like that. Okay, Comoros. The Comoros Islands are sometimes considered to be part of the Arab League because they are a Muslim country, and this is demonstrated here with the crescent moon and the stars. If so, because there's a sort of concentrated group and then a larger group, if so, then they are one of the smallest Arab countries in the world. A triangle on the left marked with the crescent of Islam and 4 stars, 4 horizontal bands of yellow, white, red and blue. Green is the traditional colour of the religion of Islam. A crescent is its traditional symbol. Each stripe symbolises one of the 4 islands. We'll take a look at them in a second. The 4 stars represent the 4 islands of the Comoros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Along with the crescent moon, they have been used on the country's flag since 1975. So let's take a little look. So this is Mayotte, which is administered by France, so that's not part of Africa. The Comoros Islands are 1, 2, 3... where's 4 then? Maybe the Comoros, it does include Mayotte. Interesting, let's read. This group of islands was named after the Arabic word for moon, qamar. So it is no surprise there's a moon on Comoros' flag. The colours and motifs date back to the country's independence movement in 1975, even though the flag's 4 stripes and 4 stars represent the 4 major islands. One of them, Mayotte, remained a French territory. Ah, how interesting. The others are Grande Comore, Anjouan, and Moëlie, which seems to have 2 other little small islands. This is the Mozambique Channel. Okay, and the Seychelles. Oh, what a beautiful flag. I do say very often this is one of my favourites. And if I'm not mistaken, it's also a combination of Romania and Hungary in a sort of weird way. Rays of blue, yellow, red, white and green coming from the bottom left. Very original. The colours represent all the political parties of the Seychelles. Let's look at this big tortoise. The Seychelles are a group of islands in the Indian Ocean east of Africa. There are 115 islands, many of them designated as nature reserves. The islands gained independence from the UK in 1976. The flag's blue stands for the sky and sea, yellow for the sun's bright rays, red represents the hard work of the people, white symbolises harmony, and green the land. The giant tortoise is one of the animals on the Seychelles coat of arms, along with a sailfish and a white-tailed topic bird. There's the tortoise there. I'm guessing that's the bird. We'll carry on with the southern tip of Africa. And we'll look at the first of a couple of countries where Portuguese is spoken. This is Mozambique, and we can see it's on the east coast here, just on the coast of Madagascar. A red triangle on the left marked with the emblem of the country, green, black and yellow horizontal stripes divided by narrow white borders. Green symbolises the fertile land, black the continent of Africa, white stands for peace, yellow represents the country's wealth, red symbolises the fight for independence. We'll talk more about this in a second. Mozambique's flag is one of only 2 in the world to feature a firearm. See also Guatemala on page 23. The flag colours were originally used by the Frelimo political party, who fought for the country's independence from Portugal in the 60s and 70s. Mozambique's emblem is on a star, which symbolises internationalism and the politics of socialism. The hoe represents agriculture, the rifle represents defence, and open book symbolises education. Yeah, having a gun on your flag. Okay, next is Zimbabwe. Another cool flag alert, which is here, just above South Africa and to the west of Mozambique. A white triangle on the left of the flag marked with the emblem of Zimbabwe and bordered in black. 7 horizontal stripes of green, yellow, red and black. This is the national emblem of Zimbabwe. White stands for peace. Green, yellow, red and black are the colours of the ZANU political party that split into ZANU PF, who are now in power, and ZANU Ndonga, an opposition party. Black represents the African leaders of the country. When Zimbabwe gained independence from the UK in 1980, the ZANU-PF, Zimbabwe African National Union, Patriotic Front, political party gained control of the country. The flag represents the party's colours. Red also stands for the bloodshed in the struggle for independence, green for the landscape, and yellow for the country's minerals. The Zimbabwe bird, based on sculptures found in the medieval city of Great Zimbabwe, is the country's emblem. Zimbabwe's emblem is inspired by the eagle-like birds that appear on top of many ancient stone columns in Great Zimbabwe, the ruins of a city where the country's ancestral kings once lived. Okay, the next one I absolutely love. Let's look at Botswana. Botswana right in the middle above South Africa, in between Zimbabwe and Namibia. Black and white represent the harmony of the people of Botswana. Blue represents water and life. Horizontal blue band separated by a narrow black band with white borders. Look at this lovely zebra. Botswana's rainy season is celebrated by the blue on its flag. The black and white stripes stand for the zebra, the national animal, and it's actually on the coat of arms. And it says Pula. Botswana's flag was flown for the first time in 1966, when the country gained independence from the UK. The blue of the flag represents life-giving rain, which is very important to the country. Botswana often suffers from droughts, and its coat of arms includes the motto Pula, which means let there be rain. And on to Namibia, which might be today's last. Namibia. I do like the colours of this flag actually and the design. A diagonal red band with white borders across triangles of green and blue, a yellow sun symbol on the blue triangle. The sun represents life and energy. White, blue and red are colours of a former political party, the Democratic Turnhalle Alliance. Blue, green and red are colours of Namibia's ruling political party, SWAPO, Southwest African People's Organization. This is the coat of arms. Namibia's coat of arms includes an oryx, a fish eagle, both found in the country. Unity, liberty, justice. Namibia gained independence from South Africa in 1990, and its major political parties at that time are reflected in the colours of its flag. The colours also reflect the country's people and landscape. Blue symbolises the sea, sky and sea and water. Red is for the people and their determination. White is a symbol of peace and unity. Green is for the land and crops. Okay, so we'll stop there, and if this video does well enough, I will do part 2. We'll skip over ships and aeroplanes, which intersects this section. And we will carry on with Angola, Zambia, Malawi and Tanzania et al. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Do click like on the video if you did, as that helps the YouTube gods to share it to some new potential subscribers in the future. Comment. Correct if anything is wrong in your opinion, your knowledge, and yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope it was a lovely, relaxing and informative video for you, and I hope to see you again on the channel really soon. Take care, sleep well, good night, bye bye bye.